Hey everyone, as I wait for the Halloween season to get started this year, I thought I'd do a top 10 video about my favorite Halloween Horror Nights mazes, but since it's Halloween I'd make it 13. There's a lot of great mazes I've been through over the last decade. I started going to Horror Nights in 2010 as a guest, and I've gone every year since. The last 2 years, 2019 and 2021, I even got to work the event, but I still got the chance to go through all the mazes. I won't be including the year-round mazes like the House of Horrors or the Walking Dead attraction in this, and I'm also leaving out the terror trams. Before I get started, I do have some honorable mentions. I've been through so many mazes and making this top 13 list was tough. Some of my favorites that didn't quite make the list were Trick or Treat from 2018, the Evil Dead remake from 2013, Stranger Things in 2018, the first two Walking Dead mazes from 2012 and 13, American Horror Story Roanoke from 17, the Titans of Terror maze, and Ash vs. Evil Dead from 2017. Now let's get started. Starting off the list at number 13 is Silent Hill from 2012. This maze was freaky. I love the environment and the characters from the Silent Hill world. I've seen the films, but I've never actually gotten a chance to play any of the games, but I did play PT back when that teaser game came out. Pyramid Head is always awesome to see, and I love the creepy nurses in the maze and in the scare zone at the lower lot. I also love the final room that smelled just like cotton candy, and was filled with creepy bunny mascots. I do hope they bring back some kind of Silent Hill maze in the future. Number 12 is The Shining from 2017. If you know me, you know that The Shining is my all-time favorite horror film and book, so when they finally announced this maze for Horror Nights, I made sure to be first in line for it. I love seeing all the iconic moments from the axe through the door, getting to walk through the hedge maze, and seeing all the jacks popping up at you. The masks were great. Walking through the gold room, being surrounded by skeletons, and of course room 237 with the creepy old lady in the tub. Number 11, American Horror Story from 2016. I love the early seasons of American Horror Story, and this maze gave us the highlights from some of the best seasons: Hotel, Freak Show, and Murder House. It was great seeing characters like Twisty, Mr. March, and the Rubber Man. I love going through the basement and seeing the Black Dahlia being operated on, and walking up to the great facade of the Freak Show circus tent with all the banners and all the freaks jumping at you. Number 10 is Creepshow from 2019. Creepshow is another one of my favorite films, and I was super excited when they announced this maze. I was happy to see the segments Father's Day, the crate, and they're creeping up on you in the maze. I love all the lighting and costumes and the colors, just like the comic book look from the movie. The two segments from the new TV show are cool too, especially the werewolves. I hope the maze comes back someday and we get to see Jordy and Leslie Nielsen's stories next time. I also had a fun time working in the event as the zombie dad from Father's Day. Number 9 is Halloween 2 from 2016. I love all the Halloween mazes we've had, but this one was my favorite. I like that it starts off at the end of the first film. We start off in the house with Loomis shooting him, then we go through the neighborhood before finally getting to the hospital. Throughout the hospital, we see Michael popping out from all corners, and some of his best kills, including my favorite of the series, the hot tub kill. But what really makes this maze stand out for me and puts it in my top 10 is the ending, where we walk through a giant jack-o'-lantern, where we're surrounded by floating pumpkin heads, creepy music, and it smells amazing. Number 8 for me is Krampus from 2016. Krampus was an awesome movie, and the maze recreated the scenes perfectly. I love all the frozen sets, the snowmen, the fact that the maze was chilly, and the Krampus and elf costumes were great. Krampus's roar was loud and would boom through the maze. I love seeing the giant jack-in-the-box eating the kid, and the angel and teddy bears attacking us in the attic. This maze was a lot of fun. Number 7 is The Thing from 2011. Of all the years I've gone to Horror Nights, this is one of the few mazes that actually scared me. I absolutely love John Carpenter's The Thing, and the prequel was pretty good too. I love seeing all the cool creature effects, costumes, and makeup they used in this maze. Hopefully one of these years they bring back The Thing and base it off the original 80s film. I'd kill to play MacReady. At number 6 is Killer Clowns from Outer Space from 2019. Clowns is one of the most fun and colorful yet scary mazes Horror Nights has done. Universal nailed the clowns' costumes and sets. It also had one of the best facades I've ever seen, with an actor out front interacting with the guests and recreating a scene. The maze starts off with the bright neon hallways of the spaceship, then you make your way through the town as the clowns are on the loose, before finally going back to the funhouse and confronting them all. There were also a lot of water effects and the killer clowns guns that would spray you throughout the maze, which made it fun and unique. Number 5 is Alien vs. Predator from 2014. AVP had some of the best sets, costumes, and animatronics I've ever seen. You start off the maze by entering a massive predator ship that's crash-landed into the woods. It's cool being surrounded by xenomorphs and predators, face huggers, chest bursters, and finally a giant alien queen at the end of the maze. Number 4 is An American Werewolf in London from 2014. American Werewolf is one of the few mazes at Horror Nights that actually scared me, not just once but multiple times. It made me jump. The werewolf puppets and animatronics looked amazing and terrifying inches from your face. My number 3 is The Bride of Frankenstein Lives from 2021. I love that we got an original idea that was a sequel to a classic monster film. The costumes, the sets, and the lighting was some of my favorite. Also, Slash returned to create the soundtrack for the maze, creating one of my all-time favorite Horror Nights soundtracks. Now please, Slash, release the album. My second favorite Horror Nights maze is Freddy vs. Jason from 2016. I love every time they do a versus maze and the guests have to walk between the two horror icons. Alien vs. Predator was awesome, but I love the slasher icons Freddy and Jason, so to see both of them together for the first time was great. I also loved that the ending would change between Freddy or Jason winning, and the other's decapitated body would charge at the guest for one last scare. I love all the references and iconic moments, like Freddy's knife fingers bursting through a guy's chest, or the giant Freddy worm from Dream Warriors. And finally, my number 1 favorite Horror Nights maze is the Universal Monsters from 2018. Ever since they tore down the House of Horrors, I've been waiting for the monsters to come back. They had everybody from Frankenstein to Dracula, Wolfman, the Phantom, and even my favorite, the Invisible Man. The sets were all awesome and unique for each of the monsters, and I can't forget to mention the amazing music by Slash. And because of its popularity, every year since they've done another monster maze. After that, it was Frankenstein vs. the Wolfman, then The Bride of Frankenstein, and next we're rumored to get a mummy maze. I hope the wave of Universal Monster mazes doesn't stop anytime soon. So those are my top 13 mazes from Halloween Horror Nights Hollywood. Let me know if you agree or disagree in the comments below and tell me your favorite mazes.